Dear students, let us start the discussion on today's newspaper, that is 16th June 2017. The first article, The Anniversary of a Divide. It is about partition in India and aftermath. If you look back 70 years, 15th August 1947 is a reason to celebrate because India is being freed from the foreign yoke. The colonialism has ended. India started making its path towards development and progress. At the same time, partition of India and unprecedented communal violence that have coincided with the partition that gives us a nightmare. So, whatever the partition seeds which are being laid, whatever the reasons for the partition, they are still haunting India. Let me put it this way. Communal violence, Gandhiji has answered through silence. It means that he has chosen his satyagraha as a weapon to answer to the mad violence that was there in the streets in Calcutta, in Delhi, everywhere. So in this context, finally it has took the life of the Gandhi itself. So Nathuram Godse, when he killed Gandhiji, one of the roots of the issue is in communal violence. And partition and the roots, if you take, Muslim League is responsible for that. Equivalent to Muslim League, Hindu Mahasabha is also responsible. So, Muslim League was able to take up Pakistan as its share, and Hindu Mahasabha wants to create a Hindu Rashtra. But however, visionary leadership was able to provide us with a secular, progressive, liberal constitution, which India is following till date. But today, Thomas Jefferson's word, if you recollect, every generation is a nation in itself. Understand carefully. Every generation is a nation in itself. A nation has a distinct culture, language, values, etc. Every generation has its own culture, language. That's why he called every generation as a nation itself. In India, the present generation do not remember much about our freedom struggle, contribution of the leaders towards freedom struggle, and why they are enjoying these fruits of independence now. So these questions are not being enlightened to our youth. So that is the reason why opportunistic politics are able to take an advantage of this ignorance. It is the time we need to educate our people about happenings of the past India. And second is, today India might be celebrating its economic progress, rule of law, democratic politics. Still, we are suffering from the divide which happened 70 years back. It may be cross-border terrorism or one or the other form. We are still suffering. So divide does no good for anyone. That's what is the point we need to remember. Next is fueling other fires. Now I'm going to take the central point over here. Whenever austerity measures are undertaken by governments, the worst affected are the people at bottom line, or people at the bottom of the pyramid, So it means the poor people. In London fire, there are austerity measures which are being linked to this. The number of fire personnel, number of police personnel are being reduced, and the safety was a compromise out there. And people who got affected are the lower middle class and the poor. That is what is this article emphasizes on. So, the poor people who are not responsible for any economic crisis, they are becoming the worst victims of the economic crisis and austerity launched by the governments. And coming to shoots take root. This is about revival in US economy. US Fed has raised the interest rates. So, one way it is a good news because US economy is reviving and it is the largest destination for Indian exports. Obviously, a new hope can be expected in export markets in India. And second thing is, USA confidence of the consumers and is also increasing and employment rates are also growing up. So that is also a good news for India. But one problem is protectionism attitude of Mr. Trump. If Trump becomes protectionist, in spite of the market revival, our market access gets curtailed. So this article's importance is no time to work. This is about child labor. So India has ratified two of the ILO provisions. These are: one, what is the minimum age to work, and what are the hazardous industries? Now, ILO's framework has given countries to define what hazardous industries mean and identifying them. So it means India can identify what its hazardous industries are, where children shall not be employed, and what is the minimum age for a child to work. So these two things can be defined. And there are also exemptions under ILO's framework. A country can exempt certain industries to be considered as industries for child labor. It means in India, as of now, household work, home entrepreneurship, these are being excluded from the provisions of Child Labor Act, and it is very much within the framework of ILO. That's the first point. So India has amended Child Labor Prohibition and Regulation Act 1986 to provide for two things. It has defined a child as up to 18 years of age, but up to 14 years, child labor in all the forms, it is prohibited. From 14 to 18 years of age, child labor is prohibited only in hazardous industries. But less than 14 years, the exemption is household enterprises. If my child is working in my own company, that shall not be considered as a child labor. So obviously, whenever such an exemption is there, it becomes very difficult to implement the law. And also the law tried to micromanage child labor in India. It clearly states that the child shall not work between 7 to 8 in between. It means morning to evening he is not expected to work even in the household industries. But however, more the exemptions are, difficult is to implement the law. And second is, hazardous industries previously are 81. Now, central government notification has reduced them to 3. It means from 14 to 18 years, children shall not work in hazardous industries. But the number of hazardous industries are being reduced. In that way, the center tried to circumvent the existing situation. Whatever we can say, the ultimate answer to child labor lies in elimination of poverty and improving the quality of education. If legal framework has to be created without effective legal enforcement, it becomes null and void. The next is media under siege? Now, media is a watchdog. Media is a bridge between the government and citizen. Media is collective voice of the people. So these are the various things we describe to explain media. So in this context, media freedoms is said to be critical for the functioning of a democracy. We have seen during emergency media censorship how it has led to violation of a liberal order in our country. So in this context, in the existing situation, can it be described as a media siege? Or else what are the reasons that makes the media to lose its significance or to move out of central stage? Let us put it this way. Media, it is glorified, or else media is taking sides. There is a partisanship in functioning of media. So that's why it is sometimes been criticized as prostitutes. And second, media ownership is changing and big business people are taking control over the media. So in this context, ownership is guiding the editorial board. Obviously, that will have a parochial notions or business interests gets intervened. And third point is, media in India, it has got sensationalistic, especially the electronic media. And also, the government and media relationships are very strong. It means that financially, media houses, especially print media, is dependent on the government for its revenues. So, government ultimately is enjoying the financial lever over the print media. It is becoming much crucial these days with the emergence of social media. The reason is, social media has become a platform for delivering of the news rather than the print media. So it has decreased its market share and also distribution of the copies, etc. So finally, the newspapers are bound to depend on the government in the existing situation. This has reduced the media freedoms further. So finally, what we need to look at here is decrease in media freedoms has to be blamed to an extent on the media behavior itself, and also to an extent the changing technological environment and decreasing financial viability of the media houses. That's how I can put it from the syllabus perspective. I'm not getting into the politics which are there in the newspaper. I'm not absolutely talking about that. And then guaranteeing time-bound services. Now, if you go to any government office, if you get a service within a prescribed time period, stated time period, you feel very happy about the quality of service. So this is what the citizen charters are all about. So the citizen charters in India, these are not legal charters, these are just moral charters. These are kind of moral commitments, not the legal commitments. Why can't we give legality to citizen charters? Many of the state governments have already provided legality to citizen charters. India or Indian Parliament, it tried to pass right of citizens for timely delivery of goods and services and redressal of their grievances Bill 2011, but it was lapsed later. So it is the high time Government of India enact the similar law to provide guaranteed services to the citizens. That's what this article talks about. And what are the provisions of the 2011 bill? We need not study over here. This article tried to cover the same. Effective grievance redressal system, assured services. These can change the environment in India. And then come to the front page. Let's talk about the Justice Reddy's issue. Now, any judge has to be removed from his office, either a High Court judge or a Supreme Court judge. It has to be made by the Parliament through a special majority and presented to the President, and President will remove them. So in this context, let us understand few points. Judges Inquiry Act also deals with any motion for the removal of the judge. It has to be introduced either in Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha with 100 supporters in Lok Sabha and 50 proposals in Rajya Sabha. So after that, it goes to the Judges Inquiry Committee, and this Inquiry Committee, if it establishes the judge has been there is a misconduct on the part of the judge, then it goes to the second house and voting is been taken up. And once it has been passed with special majority, then it goes to the President, then the judge stands removed. This is what is the procedure under Article 124. So, again, due to lack of minimum of 50 members support in Rajya Sabha, there is no motion moved against Justice Reddy in Andhra Pradesh and Telangana High Court. And then, let's go to the news page. Now, India refutes Pak claims on Russia mediation. At recent Shanghai Cooperation Organization, Pakistan stated that Russia has offered for intermediation to resolve the disputes between India and Pakistan, which was welcomed by Pakistan. But Russia did not state anything like that. And Russian official spokesperson also has confirmed, and India also clearly stated that Russia knows the stand of India. And India states that any issue has to be bilaterally solved in the environment which is free from terrorism. This is what India stands with regard to resolving of issues with Pakistan. So that's what the clearly stated again. And then coming to the business page. So US Fed raises benchmark rate, balance sheet cuts. When benchmark rate is raised, interest rates are bound to raise. And it clearly shows that there is a revival in the economy in the United States of America. And then, government unveils a tit-for-tat public procurement policy. It means that if any government is prohibiting Indian companies from participating in procurement there, India also will not allow the same country to participate in India's procurement. So, if, let's take, US government prohibits India from or Indian producers from providing goods and services to US government, If US companies wants to provide services to Indian government will also reject the same. That's how our procurement policy of the government is changed. That is what this article is. So again, I have given you the notes at the end, laix.in/civils-prep. And all the best. I wish you all the best today. Thank you very much. Do your prelims examination well. Bye-bye.